Since I was a kid, I always loved soccer, and I wondered if there was some way I could use it, not just as a game, but as a way to have a positive impact on the world. However, big picture soccer didn't really begin to take shape until my wife and I spent a couple years living in Juarez, Mexico. Across the street from the little community where we were living, the drug cartel was hosting parties to get youth addicted, either as future clients or employees. The fortunate kids, with the best of parents, were often still home alone for 12 plus hours a day, with their parents working in factories to barely earn enough to put food on the table. And the unfortunate kids lived in homes where their parents had already given up hope and regularly abused drugs and alcohol, leaving the kids without supervision on the streets of Juarez. So in the end, you had kids with very little, if any, positive influence in their lives, faced with the choice of either joining a criminal organization to find belonging, wealth, and power, or following the path of the others around them and working in a factory for the rest of their lives, barely able to make ends meet. As I spent time in this community, I could tangibly feel the despair and the hopelessness that governed their reality. The question that formed for me was, can I even help? Is there any way we can make a difference? About that time, I went for a walk and came across a young man named David, who was running some soccer drills for his niece and nephews and their friends on a dirt field next to my house. David had grown up in this community, and he had watched as many of his childhood friends had drifted into the criminal world and ultimately lost their lives or ended up in jail. His goal was to give the opportunity to kids in this neighborhood that he had never had, and to keep them from making the same mistakes he had seen so many of his peers make. I quickly realized that David was not only awesome with kids, but a dynamic leader who held the respect of his whole community, including adults much older than him. We began working together to form a soccer club that would provide the opportunity for these vulnerable youth to have a place where they would belong and were surrounded by positive influences multiple times a week. We made sure that finances never impeded these youth's involvement, and quickly the soccer club took off. Soccer itself provided an excellent framework to instill character within these youth, like teamwork, respect, responsibility, and hard work. Alongside the club, we were able to offer other opportunities that helped the children be successful in their studies. This environment of a soccer club was actually changing the reality of life for many of these youth. And ultimately, it was inspiring hope in the face of all the adversity around them. The look on their faces of pride and joy when our club, Salsal FC, won its first championship in the local youth league was absolutely priceless. It was at this point that I realized we were onto something, that soccer clubs could actually be a method of bringing youth together in underserved areas and empowering them to transform their own lives and communities. So we formed Big Picture Soccer. Our mission is to work with local leaders just like David by training them as coaches and providing resources to facilitate the formation of locally run and holistically focused soccer clubs like Salsal FC that ultimately instill character, provide opportunity, and inspire hope in youth. Our ultimate vision is that youth in communities across the globe, regardless of their socioeconomic status, will have the opportunity to achieve their full potential, both on and off the soccer field, through their participation with our soccer clubs.